Welcome to With That Being Said, a Roux fitness podcast where we get fit while having fun. Make sure to check us out on Instagram at Roux_fitness and on Facebook at Roux Fitness. Also give us a like, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and give us a 5-star rating and review. Only kind words. All right, DJ Bad Brad here.
Bump, bump.
And we are interviewing Mike, Henry, and Brent Benoit from the 610 Stompers and Roux Fitness and Stacked Coaching.
All of the things.
All the things. They do all the things here. And we always have with us the lovely Sarah Altobello.
Oh,
Hi,
that's me.
Sarah.
Hi.
So how's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
Good.
All right,
We
Brent.
all have coffee.
We all have
Yes.
coffee. We were discussing DJ names before we started. That's what you got here. So, Sarah, what would your DJ name be?
Mine would be DJ Smooth Dubs.
Smooth Dubs.
That was in high school. Smooth Dubs.
Smooth Dubs. That's hot.
I don't know. Mine might be, I don't know. Bad Boy Brent. I don't know.
Bad Boy Brent?
Yeah.
But mine is Bad Brad.
Okay, well then,
They're
What about
You could
Double
be a
B.
duo.
What about Sir Fresh?
Surf Fresh.
I like that because you look fresh all the time.
Fresh.
I would agree with that.
You can say it. Yeah. Fresh AF.
You can project.
Fresh AF. Big Mike?
You know, I don't know what my name would be. It would definitely have my football number in it for sure.
All right, what was your football number?
Something 64.
I thought you were about to say 69.
Bradley was like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I thought we were on an episode of Barstool Sports or something.
Yeah, I mean,
64? All right.
yeah, I don't know.
What was the name of your first dog?
Soupy.
Mine was
We
Spot.
got her on Super Bowl
Which
Sunday.
street did you grow up on?
14th Street.
64 Spot 14th.
Sounds like a football play.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, that sounds like a football play.
It's like some weird password for your Wi-Fi.
Let's keep going with the name game. So, everybody has Stomper names, right?
Yes.
You have your own Stomper names.
Yep.
Brent, what's yours?
Chiclet, but I kind of class it up as I always do, and I say it's Chiclet.
Chiclet. Is there a accent aigu somewhere on your jacket?
No, but they did say that I could add one if I wanted to.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Chiclet.
100% should.
Because I'm bougie.
AF. Remember, keep the volume up. Chiclet. Big Mike, what's yours?
Mine is Fezzik. And I was a little disappointed when I got it because I didn't know who Fezzik was.
I don't know who Fezzik is.
What?
I think
is
Sarah
Fezzik's
gave me the
favorite
same
movie?
reaction when I.
It's the Princess Bride. Andre the Giant. He's Fezzik the Giant.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Oh my
I.
God.
I just knew him as Andre the Giant. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
don't know the movie that. I mean, I know it, but I didn't know it as well as Sarah does.
I was
so.
like, man, who is Fezzik? You know?
So they give them to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you get Chiclet?
Chiclet.
I mean, I get Big Mike and Fezzik, but
Well, so evidently it was a toss-up between balls because my last name is Benoit.
Benoit balls.
Yeah, and they said no, and then so then
Benoit
it
balls.
changed to Chiclet because Chiclet.
Wait, you said no or they said no?
No, they said no whenever they're because we don't get to pick our names; it's given to you. And so,
What if your last name was Deep?
yeah, right.
That'd
so
just be unfortunate.
Chiclet came from teeth, orthodontics, a play on teeth.
They could have done better.
I
just want to throw that out
but
there.
Chiclet is nice.
I like Chiclet.
I like your take on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chiclet seems
You made it work in your favor.
Yeah.
much better. You weren't jacked with Fezzik?
You know,
Well, tell them why. Tell them the fusion.
the fusion. Okay, so they brought us in this room and they compared us to like a picture, and it was Andre the Giant Fezzik from the Princess Bride. And
Mike, I don't think you're the biggest guy in the Stompers, though, right?
no,
They
there's
got
a
that
guy
other
named
dude-
Theo. Who
Yeah,
was-
he's
he's an actor. And
huge.
he's like 7 foot.
Yeah, yeah.
He's massive.
He should be Fezzik. But anyway, go ahead.
Now he's Le Petit Dancer.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
But they told me I looked like Ross from Friends.
You do look like a
Had-
bigger version of Ross from Friends.
Sexual encounters with Fezzik from The Princess Bride, and I was its creation.
I totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
I
a lot
mean,
of sense.
Fair enough.
So
All right. You? What are we talking about? No, I don't know. I don't say that. Okay. Anyway.
We found out how he got his name.
I lost my train of thought. It is sad. We were
It's a
recording
foggy
this on a
Saturday.
Everybody went out yesterday. It was Friday before Mardi Gras. You
Yep.
will not hear this during Mardi Gras, so that is sad.
Mm-hmm.
But we are keeping the spirit alive.
Yep.
I want to continue on this dance train.
Hey, Pac away.
What year? Y'all both make the Stompers in the same year?
Yeah, so that's actually how Mike and I became friends because we both joined the Stompers together, or we got into the Stompers the same year.
Yep.
Year 10. So.
Year 10.
And then Mike started coming to the gym shortly before Mardi Gras, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go." I had started going to the gym. You should come too. And then here I am, 2 years later.
Have you guys seen my audition video?
Actually, I don't think I
I don't
have.
think I've seen
It's
it.
on YouTube.
We'll link it in the
We'll
comments.
I was.
Link in the bio.
I tried out in year 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I got golden ticket and I thought I was a shoo-in. Like I nailed the dance. And my buddy of mine, who, fucking, I'll say it, Megamind, who made it, okay, he couldn't dance worth a shit compared to me in terms of rhythm and dancing, and that bitch made it. So I was pretty butthurt. So they're
He
like,
had
try
some
out.
really good gold lame short shorts.
Yeah. When they called me and told me I wasn't gonna make it, like I thought my world had crashed down
Yeah.
on me. It was bizarre. Like I was depressed, like Saints NFC Championship game against the Rams depressed. That's how depressed I was.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, you should try out next year." And I was like, "F this."
No, thank you.
I thought about it, but then honestly, like I opened up the gym and I saw how much at the time, like the commitment level it takes, and I was like, "Oh, I have no time for this." But I had a ton of fun, and I still like to dance, and I especially like to dance with choreography. I am not as good as Jonathan Burke. If we talk about this all the time, Jonathan Burke is a great freestyle dancer, but I will crush him with choreography.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that.
So that's my take on that.
So with that, are we talking Backstreet Boys NSYNC choreography or just
Whatever. Like Sarah comes up with it, I will dance the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
you are the dancer, so I think you should choreograph something for us.
I mean, I
all.
can do anything.
I'm here for it.
That's pretty fresh, just like not ballet, tap, any type of classical dance. I would not be good at.
I mean, we've talked about how cool it would be if we, like the Dead Rock Stars, they have their one parade. They do muses every year. That's it. Like if we had one parade and we did like male and female and like it was gym members because
I'm
it's
here for it.
all
Yeah, I'm in.
one or the other.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
So
It'd be cool if we could do the first weekend. Or Crew de Vue. They wouldn't let us do that in Crew de Vue unless we had a jazz band with us.
yeah, I also feel like Crew de Vue, you got to be like really in with them.
Yeah. I hear there's like a whole process. And I could be
vetting process?
misspeaking here,
It's like
but like
years to
yeah,
get
but
in.
like you have to like volunteer as security and then pull the float for so many years and then be a chaperone and then you might be able to get into the crew. And then all that you still have to know someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What made y'all decide to try out for the Stompers?
To be honest, my buddy Mark and I, we were in residency and we were at Red Dress Run and we were drunk and
Solid.
we were trying to. Mark was like, "Yeah, the 6 in Stompers auditions are going on." I was like, "So do you want to do it?" And he was like, "I'll see how I feel in the morning." I was like, "I'll see how I feel in the morning too. If we feel fine, we'll do it." And literally, we both woke up and put on some clothes and went down to Harrah's and tried out. That's literally how it became because we were drunk the night before in the quarter for
love
Red
this.
Dress Run.
That's pretty good. Mike, what about you?
I knew some guys in the Stompers, and but what really did it for me was I went to their party. We do the bar crawl every year, and I had such a great time dancing
fun.
in the streets, going from bar like the pub
Yeah, it's
crawl,
fun.
and then the auditions were coming up, and I was like, you know what, I just got to sign up and do it, or just show up at 6 a.m. or whenever I showed up.
Yeah, I've always done, fun stuff, always been involved, and I've always had friends be like, "Oh, Brent, that's totally you. Like, you should totally try out." I'm like, I don't have time. And then it came down to Red Dress Run, and it was.
What has been like the most fun moment you've been a part of as a Stomper?
I have two. I would say the Macy's Day Parade was pretty awesome. Just dancing in New York
What
City.
was the look on people's faces as y'all
They were very confused. They were very confused because they give us a speaker and it's not very loud.
Right.
So they can't really hear the music. They just see us dancing and it's like,
Oh my God.
That's weird. Like, I would probably probably
like, who are
looking
these
a little
guys?
funny if
Yeah,
I can't
so-
hear it.
Oh my god.
That was a blast. And we do a lot of other stuff like St. Michael's Special Needs School. We do
Yeah.
a parade there. That's an awesome event too. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I was on my honeymoon for whenever they went to Macy's, so I couldn't go to Macy's. But I would say the first time that we did the St. Michael's Special School parade was by far the best thing.
yeah,
What they do is like they compare their students to blue roses because everything's special like a blue rose, and then at the end of the parade or whatever they gave us all blue roses.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I cried.
I get chills.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm so emotional.
Yeah, I was like, I cry at the drop of a hat regardless. But
Yeah.
that was like,
Also, just to bring that kind of joy, because
Yeah.
it's joyful seeing you guys
Yeah.
in the street. Like,
it's a lot of fun.
no matter how butthurt I was, like, I always loved watching you guys dance.
Yeah.
So.
And I think also like my first Mardi Gras, just realizing that your butt is essentially the world's butt because it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Like who you are, some woman is gonna slap you on the ass multiple
Yeah.
times and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
just fun.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved. I don't know if I think it was last year because we have photos at State and Magazine where y'all got stopped right
Oh,
in
yeah,
front
yeah.
of us,
Yeah.
and it was like our whole Roux crew was dancing.
was
in the
perfect.
street
Yeah,
with
it
y'all.
was awesome.
What's your
so much
favorite
fun.
Mardi Gras parade to dance in?
Carrollton was great because I like the day parade.
Yeah,
whenever the weather's
like day
perfect.
parades,
Okay. So and also Toth.
Toth.
Like that
Always.
Toth Sunday last
Toth Sunday
year
is so
was awesome.
Awesome. I don't. If you don't go to Toth, I feel like you're missing out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Our first year we didn't do toes.
Yeah, we didn't do Toth because that was the year that it got like it was supposed to be really bad weather
And then it cleared up.
Well, it's like they
They
flew by.
Yeah, I remember that.
So like
Yes.
we got moved to where there were no dancing crews or bands in Toth, so we couldn't do Toth our first year. And then last year Toth Sunday was like perfect weather. It was absolutely awesome.
I think that was the parade we saw
yeah,
you
that
guys.
was one that
Yeah.
we stopped.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
I didn't
parade.
see you guys because I was marching with the Tiger
Yeah,
Rag
yeah.
tag.
Yeah. Tiger
Rag tag.
It was fun. So,
Yeah.
all right. So this is a fitness podcast. We'll talk about some fitness. So, how much would you say fitness is required to do what you guys do?
I think a lot. I mean, in a parade, I'll wear my Apple Watch and I'll burn 4,000 calories.
Oh yeah, easily.
Easily.
Have you ever looked at your steps in a parade? I'd be interested.
Oh, it's
in
like
that.
I mean,
it's a
upon
lot.
like granted, you're still like parading 5 miles, so there's that 5 miles of steps, but
Right.
then
But
like
it's back
I
and
think it's like
forth.
25,000 steps
Yeah.
like at
Yeah.
the end of the parade. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Because you're running back
like
and
you're-
forth.
I mean, you're
You're
dancing,
with people.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I will say what impresses me about the Stompers more than any other crew is how much fun y'all have. And even I feel like some of the female crews, it's way more tame. Like
Yeah.
the way y'all dance, y'all go at it way harder than anyone else.
But I think
Yeah.
it's a combination of the two. Like, it's you guys exude fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
While at the same time, take this a relative term, are professional about it.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you still do your dances while you have fun. It doesn't look like
Yep.
a shit show coming
Exactly.
down
Yeah.
the parade
And,
route.
like to bring it back to like the fitness, like there are times whenever I consider myself relatively fit. I mean, and at the end, what we do is we typically do 3 or 4 dances, and then you switch groups. Okay, but like at the end of that first cycle of dances, before you go back to the back, you're like, okay, I need to rest and recover,
Yeah.
and then chug a beer and then get back to it. But it's also like, I mean, you have that time where it's like, whew, I'm winded, and then so
Yeah.
you definitely need to have some sort of fitness.
Yeah, we call it Stomper shape.
Yeah.
So,
Get in
So-
Stomper shape.
so we do a few like parades around the neighborhood as we train and get ready.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
but we do a few parades out of town, and then once we hit New Orleans,
Oh,
we're ready
you
to
do
roll.
some out of town.
Yeah, so typically in Slidell, like we'll do during the first weekend of Mardi Gras, we'll do like a Slidell parade, and then our first year we did one in Homa, and then we come to New Orleans and it's like balls to the wall,
Yeah.
like it's like on like Donkey Kong. So
Yeah. So you had a year when you were in the Stompers prior to coming to Roux, right?
yes,
And
yeah.
and then you had a parade season where after you had come to Roux.
Yeah.
Was there any difference, or you just still
I,
tired as
I
shit?
thought like my stamina was a lot better, and my legs also looked better in the shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It definitely helps. There's
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
All right.
Yeah, and I typically under our jackets we normally wear tank tops, and after I typically don't like wearing tank tops, but after coming to the gym, I'm like, I can pull off a tank top.
Sometimes I've been seeing Brent's progress photos Brent is also a nutrition client of mine,
Yep.
and this last one, I'm like, okay, you getting jacked?
I sent Bradley a shameless selfie the other morning because I was like, it's time.
I take all of them, guys, girls, whatever. Like,
I was like, I'm just feeling it, and I feel like Bradley should celebrate it as well. So
Yeah.
I did.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I said, Emily, come over here. I showed her. She was like, all right, Brent. I like what you're working with over there. So, all right, Mike, you were a football player
That's right.
back in the day. Played for Tulane.
Yeah.
Guard or tackle?
I played center.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
So I played defense in high school
where at?
at John Curtis,
Okay.
and as I was getting recruited,
How many stars were you?
I was on Rivals. I was
Yeah.
a 2-star.
2-star.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, it was okay.
That's why you went to Tulane.
Yeah. That's why I went to Tulane. No, but I was a blue chip player in the state. So we won state championship every year.
Yeah.
As we do at John Curtis.
And then you
And
moved
then I
up.
went to Tulane and we lost every year.
What was that like?
But it was horrible. It was horrible.
Did it take any of the fun away from playing?
It did. I mean, it's just tough to train all year, to do all these things, and then come up short.
Right.
You put a lot of effort in, because you're training year round.
Yeah.
You're there in the summertime working out. You're there in the spring working out. I mean, it's a full time. I mean, you're a student athlete, but I mean, you're there to play football.
Yeah.
So it's tough putting all that work in and coming up short. 4 wins, 2 wins.
What was it like being recruited?
So for me, I committed early. I always wanted to go to Tulane.
Yeah.
My whole life. So I wanted to play baseball for Tulane. And that was back in 05 maybe when they had Micah Owings,
Yeah.
Brian Bogusevic, and they were like the best team in the country. And I was like, I wanted to go
Right.
and play baseball for Tulane. And I just grew and became a bigger person. And I went to Curtis and became a pretty good football player. So,
Yeah. All right. So you were a shitty baseball player, or is that what you're saying?
yeah, I wasn't very good.
What was your weak point?
At baseball,
Yeah.
I would say hitting.
Yeah, I couldn't hit for shit
You know.
too. I could feel the hell out of the ball. I could not hit. Also, like I talk about this with Shane and Jonathan all the time. All you have to do is buzz a fastball in a little bit close to me. I'm
Yeah.
totally psyched out. I'm like, no thanks. I don't want
Yeah.
to get hit with this ball.
So, but at Curtis, I played football, basketball. I played a little baseball my first 2 years. I played on the golf team.
Oh yeah.
That's my new love. So,
Damn. All right. You're a Renaissance man.
yeah. But when I was getting recruited,
Dancer.
I got recruited as an offensive lineman. So, anybody who was looking at me, that's what they wanted me to play.
So, how athletic did you have to be to play offensive line? Let's talk about that. I'm interested.
I mean, I think it takes a lot of athleticism. I mean, especially doing like ladder drills, any kind of agility drill. Your footwork is everything when you play offensive line. So I think to have great footwork, that's really important.
Yeah.
I would say that Mike is probably one of the most agile people that I know.
I've seen him
And,
dance.
and it's like, because of his size, like you wouldn't think that, but I mean, the dude can move.
Yeah.
And he's swift on his feet.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I try to be.
I like it. I like it. What was your training like in, let's say, high school versus college? Was it similar? Did y'all do different stuff?
So in high school, I felt like we did more strength exercises. So at Curtis, they power cleans, Olympic lifts was a big thing for them.
Y'all didn't snatch, huh?
We didn't snatch.
Yeah.
We've never snatched ever throughout my whole.
You shouldn't if
yeah.
you're like. There's no need to if you're a high school
Yeah.
football
No.
player. Like it's
did a
an
lot of-
Olympic lift. It should be for Olympians.
Yeah, we did a lot of clean pulls, a lot of shrugs, just things like that. And as I progressed, I started going to a guy named Wyatt at Sonic Boom. I trained with him. And then when I went to Tulane, we did a lot more running.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing, was running, agility drills, not so much strength. I mean, it was still a big part. But
Do you think that played a part in your record? Not focusing on
I mean,
strength at all?
it could be. I mean, I think that we had a really good strength coach, but through my time at Tulane, I was under Bob Toledo, and then we had a coach change, and we had Curtis Johnson. And so the strength coach when I was a freshman, sophomore versus the one when I was a senior, they just had 2 different philosophies. The first guy was more brute strength, squats, bench press, power cleans, and then the other guy was more, more power cleans, more supplemental lifts.
Yeah.
It wasn't, so.
Did you ever get blown off the line by a defensive lineman?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was that like?
It's not a great feeling, you know. It's because I mean, so offense is different, you know. On defense, you know, 10 guys can mess up, one guy can make a great play. On offense, one guy messes up, the whole play's ruined. So to be the guy getting blown up, or you know,
the quarterback gets
sacked.
Yeah.
It's
You ever
just
go
not a
back
great
to the
feeling.
huddle and the quarterback's like, Mike, what the?
I mean, it's happened before, but
Happens to everybody.
yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, you're talking, you know, in high school, you're one of the best players in the state. You're better than everybody, you know. But once you get to college, everybody's the same,
Right.
you know. And then so on when you get to the pros.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. So
Right.
I always wanted to know what like shit talking was from Mike, because he's like one of the nicest people ever.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm like, I could just imagine him being in like on the line, being like, you want to go get some ice cream after? You know, like, I just
Did
I
you
can't
shit talk?
imagine-
Did you shit talk?
I mean, a little bit, but you know, I was never the biggest.
It wasn't
talker.
like Chauncey Gardner Johnson shit talk. Like,
No, I
getting
just
punched
No,
in
want
the
my-
apparently
face.
he could put a clinic on how to do that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
he gets in everyone's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a big talker.
I feel like Burke
can see
would
that.
be a really good shit talker in football.
Oh yeah. So y'all weren't around, but Mardi Gras the first year we were at Tad Gormley, we went and we like filmed one of the workouts there, and we brought Burke because we had some of the coaches do it. Burke hadn't been like on the field at Tad Gormley since he was
Just Jesuit
playing
days.
for Jesuit, and he got so jacked that he ended up hurting himself on a power clean and
Yeah.
was like out
He
for
like
2
Oh,
pulled
God.
something.
Yeah.
So I can 100% see Burke being a star shit talker.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. How different was it going, you know, your football training, and then you had a little bit of time off after college, and then you joined Roux,
Yeah.
right? So what was the fitness differences like, if you can explain for the people?
So I think, you know, when I finished playing football at Tulane, I didn't really work out much. And then once I got into Roux, the reason it really brought me here was that it was very similar to the training at Tulane. So, I mean, doing the bench press, squats, power
Right.
cleans, and then, you know, the workouts, it's almost like a competition. You can, if you want to compete, you can compete,
Right.
you know, with the whiteboard on, you know,
Yeah.
on Wadify. So it's just kind of, that's what brought me here was the competition.
Yeah,
you
cool.
know.
Do you still like think of it like that, or has your mindset changed?
I
at all?
still think of it like that.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Brent, what about you? What brought you?
I did not play O-line.
You did not play O-line? Shocker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't play sports
I couldn't
at
tell.
all, so.
Chiclet.
Well, I remember, so Mike joined, and then he's like, I have a friend coming to check out the gym. And Emily, I think, met with you.
Yeah.
And you walked in and Emily was like, oh, this is Mike's friend. Like, y'all looked so different,
Yeah.
right? And I think it was like bench press, and y'all were going to work together. And Emily
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'd never really lifted weights, or, you know, like I did tons of body weight stuff and yoga before coming to Roux. So I was actually intimidated to do CrossFit, and Emily always says that I was the hardest sell to join the gym, but it's because I was intimidated. I didn't really know the whole scope of CrossFit, what
Right.
I could do, what my body was capable of doing. And so whenever I finally joined the gym, I also like tiptoed around just like trying to figure out what I am capable of, you know?
Yeah.
And
That's okay.
yeah, but it was great, you know?
How different was it, like, once you joined from what your preconceived notions were?
So I think that prior to, it was just like everybody, you know, you hear people get hurt. But what I found was that the coaches, especially at Roux, were very in tune to how you're moving, what you're doing, and making sure that everything was done properly. And there were times, like I remember one of the very first times we were doing cleans, Bradley was like, hey, you have to protect those wrists. Like, that's your work, you know, because it was, I wasn't getting the bar high
Yeah, you
enough
weren't
before I
rotating
was,
your elbows
yeah.
underneath.
So I wasn't
fast
like
enough.
rotating. And
so you were holding all the weight
yeah,
in your wrist.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, you know, the preconceived notion was that like it's just a bunch of willy-nilly like movements, and you're like throwing a bunch of weight around. But
It can be.
it can be,
Yeah.
but I don't think that we do that here.
No.
And I also think that it's a lot more controlled than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, I never really lifted weights prior to coming to Roux. I mean, I would go to the gym and like, try to like
Do some
move.
For those of you
Yeah.
who just are listening and not watching, Brent just made a motion like kind of a gorilla with dumbbells in his hand.
Exactly, essentially.
Oh,
yeah.
willy-nilly gorilla.
Willy-nilly,
gorilla. Yeah.
you
So, but yeah. So
What how do you feel now about it? Like, you look forward to coming to the gym?
I enjoy it, and
We have a lot of fun here.
yeah, we have a lot of fun, but I've seen my body change, but then I've also my mentality of what my body can do has changed as well. I enjoy the workouts. I find that they're varied enough to where I'm getting the most out of all of my movements, and I can bench press more. I can push more. I can do toes to ring and things like that I never thought that I was able to do, but now I feel
I got an
confident
odd
doing
question
it.
for you, and I'll
Yeah.
ask you both. How often, or does this happen where you're like, man, I just do not feel like working out today, but you show up?
I would say half the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like with my work schedule, sometimes I have to come at 5:30 a.m.
Right.
and that 5:30 a.m. I'm like, I just want to stay in bed.
Right.
So the mentality to push yourself to do it, but then as soon as you finish the workout, you're like, thank God I did that. I feel a lot better.
I agree with you.
And sometimes at the end of the day, after working all day, I'm like, and it's whenever you look at the workout prior to, you're like, Morgan really did it with these wall balls and thrusters today. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that,
Right.
So sometimes I don't look at it so that way I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is I was just having this conversation with one of our nutrition coaches, is that she was saying, like, I'm in a rut. I don't really feel like working out. And I said, yeah, but you're here.
Yeah.
And you did. And that's what kind of separates us from everyone else, is that even when we don't want to work out, we do.
Yeah.
And part of that is because we like make a really fun environment. But when you start to see progress mentally, physically, it's not just like, it's not an addiction. I don't think any of us are truly addicted to fitness. I mean, some people are. I don't think we are.
I don't think so, yeah.
But we have found that just the idea of like working out on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning sets up our day much differently.
It's a domino effect,
Yeah.
and it translates into so many other things. And I think kind of backtracking, the misconception is that because we are here 5 or 6 days a week working out, that we must always feel motivated and we must always love showing up.
No.
But I mean, there's probably one day a week where Bradley and I are in the gym both just like, why are we doing this? But we do it.
And it might not be the best workout that day. It might be a mile run. We do like half the workout or something like that, but we did it.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
translates into so many other aspects of our lives. And like, if I say no to moving my body and saying I just got to do whatever it is I can do and not put any pressure there,
Yeah.
if I say no to that, then it gets a lot easier to say no to like something that's sitting in our fridge that we were going to
Yeah,
cook.
I agree.
It gets really easy to make a lot of other decisions.
There was one time like Mike and I showed up and we both weren't feeling it, and he's like, I'm just gonna sandbag this workout, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna give it like 50%, and then turns out like we did the whole workout, and I was like, I'm just gonna do half of it and stop, and turns out I did the whole hour workout, and
Yeah, when I say that and I'm in a class, like you do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Those are your famous last words. Whenever Bradley is like, I'm just going to do whatever.
Yeah.
And then he'll pull his weight out and it's the same as mine. And he's like,
Yeah.
go get something else. And he gets a heavier weight. And then I'm like, oh, you're in it now. Like, you're
I
ready
feel
to
like no
compete.
matter what, too, you're always going to feel great. No matter what.
yeah.
Yeah,
After.
I agree.
You're going to feel great.
You're never mad about just having worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
Never-
you're not always like floating on cloud nine, but
Right.
sometimes it's just like the mental break and the stress relief you need.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, oh, okay, it's done. And I just love that like here versus like at a gym, like our phones are away. Like
Yeah.
people are turned off from
Yeah.
whatever else is going on for an hour.
Yeah. So there was one time, Mike, his girlfriend Allison, my wife, and I, we were drinking wine one night. We drank a lot of red wine, and Roux was having one of those community classes where actually Abita sponsored it. It was like the Abita 99 thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, but that morning, the Stompers were solicited to dance in front of Baker's Dozen because they were doing a 6-cent Stomper donut. So Mike and I like rode our bikes from. The plan was that we were going to ride our bikes from our house to Baker's Dozen.
Shout out to Baker's Dozen, very underrated donut place. That place is fantastic.
Yes.
Very good.
So like Baker's Dozen. So like we show up there, we're hungover as hell, and we like stand on the neutral ground and like danced for all the people to like go in and eat a donut. So the plan was So like the plan was is that we were gonna
The corner
time
of
it.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's some weird stuff.
Yeah.
So we were gonna time it correctly to where we would do that, and then we would ride our bikes to Grounded, get a coffee right as the workout was starting here, so that way we didn't have to work out, but we could stay and drink free beer afterwards. Okay.
Right.
That was the plan.
The ultimate sandbag.
Yeah, right. So we showed up and we thought that the workout started at 10:30, but it didn't start until 11. So we showed up at like 10:45, and we're like, we're gonna show up, great. We'll just
Coffee
stand
in
around
hand,
coffee
like-
in hand, like in our Stomper uniform,
Yep.
and literally the class hadn't started yet, and we're like, well, I guess we have to work out.
Yeah.
And we
And
were
you did.
so hungover, and we worked out in our Stomper uniform, and after I
felt
was
great.
hungover and I felt great
Yeah.
afterwards. So
I will say, like, when people talk about hangover cures, working out is a hangover
Oh, yeah.
cure.
Oh, yeah.
It 100% makes you
Yeah.
feel better.
Yes. You're not going to give 100% in that workout,
Yeah.
but once you start moving, it's all the difference.
Do y'all have
in the
any other
world.
hangover cures? I
I
feel like Chiclet and Fezzik gotta have one.
don't
a
wanna
good I would say a good coffee, a good shower, and 800 milligrams of ibuprofen.
Yeah.
I try to set myself up for success before I go to bed that night, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's like a 2-minute shower, bunch of water, a couple ibuprofen, and then wash, rinse,
Yeah.
and repeat in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll go 800 milligrams.
Oh.
That's 4 ibuprofens, by the way.
Yeah. Well, so we actually have like the 800 milligram tablets. So
Oh,
it's just
well.
one. It's easier on the stomach, and it's
He's
nice.
an
so-
orthodontist.
Must be nice.
It is easier on the stomach
Yeah.
because you're only taking one.
You're only taking one, and you don't have as much of the coating that has to digest, so it's easier in the
Interesting.
stomach.
That makes
On-
Where
sense.
could one get an 800 milligram ibuprofen from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Medical supplies. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So they make these. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I don't know why the algorithm took me here because I am not like a big drinker.
Yeah.
I mean, I will drink once a week.
Yeah.
Maybe twice. Yesterday I did go ham. Probably go ham tomorrow, but nonetheless, it's Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
But these enzyme pills showed up in my Instagram feed. Have you guys seen
Enzyme
these?
pill. I will
I
get it
haven't
now.
So you're supposed to. Yeah.
Everybody get their phone out.
It's gonna come.
So you're supposed to take like 2 tablets. I think you drop them in your water.
Okay.
And you drink that for every 2 to 4 alcoholic beverages.
It's supposed to help with your liver enzymes.
Yes, because they
Okay.
said that helps break down the alcohol much better.
Okay.
Interesting.
To where you don't have that hangover effect in the morning. I kind of just want to buy some and try
I
them.
feel
Yeah.
like if you get them, you need to be aware of where you're drinking them. Like you can't go to a bar and every 2 drinks drop a few. in
Yeah.
your water.
Right. I feel like this guy's roofing himself.
You gotta be careful. You gotta know your audience there.
And then you go to the girl next to you. Hey, do you want 2 of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Let
also
me just drop them in your water.
I would also, like you said, maybe do a test run to see like what it does to, because like sometimes those liver enzymes or cleansings, you might want to be close to the restroom.
Bro, you might
True.
you might shit yourself.
Poop,
is what you're
yeah.
saying.
We're talking about poop.
Poop. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But as far as hangovers, I think the best thing is the shampoo effect, where you just have another drink and start it all over again.
I've
Yeah.
never done
Keep
that.
it rolling.
I've never done that.
No.
No, but
No.
I think back to my friend Juan Diaz, longtime member of the Roux crew. He would like get hammered, and then the next morning go get tacos at like some place off the service road and get like a michelado or something, which I
can't.
think is a Bloody Mary and a beer.
Okay. I've never had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Bloody Marys are a little heavy for me. I like one every now and then, but
Well,
It's my
I think the
favorite.
problem with a Bloody Mary, and I love Bloody Marys too, is you do have a little bit higher sugar intake from the Bloody Mary mix.
yeah.
I think.
I've just found like in general, this is probably gonna sound really
And sugar
bougie,
adds to the hangover,
Yeah.
by the way.
but like I used to love like a good craft cocktail. Like, what can you use? Like when they would, I remember going to New York and they like smoke this wood plank and then they sit the glass while they're like making the cocktail and then they put it in. Like that's awesome.
Mixologist.
Yes.
But if I have a lot of those, like anything added,
I can only have
I'm
one.
done.
Yeah.
I only have
It's
one.
got to be like liquor and soda or just like on the rocks.
Yeah.
Well, just like I can't
Yeah.
drink
I'm
an
done.
old fashioned. I'd rather just have the bourbon on the rocks
Yeah.
because the bitters and then if they add
I can have one and then if I
Yeah.
keep
will
drinking
jack
it,
I agree.
I can only have one.
the next day I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
awful headache.
I will say the next morning I do enjoy a nice champagne because I think the effervescence does something to settle the stomach.
I'm all for
It's the
bubbles.
enzymes.
Yes, the enzymes.
All right, so I'm gonna regret this if we don't talk about this. So you're an orthodontist.
Yep.
And I am big on teeth health.
Okay.
Tell me about, and we've had Ryan Thibodeau
Yep.
on here before, but I'd like your perspective
Okay.
on how much teeth health translates to whole body health.
So this is actually, my wife and I, like we preach this. So the mouth is the portal to the rest of the body. So
That's what she said.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, right.
Literally.
The way
time.
through my stomach is through my
Literally.
mouth. No, but yeah, right. No, but for I mean, there are certain things that as healthcare professionals we can see present in the mouth prior to seeing it in the rest of your body, Crohn's disease, things like that. But I think that overall oral health is a systemic thing that leads to overall good health. I mean, if you have a healthy mouth, it means you're taking care of your hygiene. I think that that's number one. If you have good hygiene in your mouth, you're going to have good hygiene everywhere. But then also, it sets you up for success. Kind of like we said, like it's the domino effect. You start here, everything's healthy, everything else down there is going to be healthy as well too. So, I mean, periodontal disease has links to diabetes and things like that. So, oral health is number one for overall health.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were saying that the worst thing you could do in terms of oral health is sharing a toothbrush.
Oh, who does that?
Well,
gross.
even with your spouse. Like,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they said it's way worse than making out.
That's
Like,
disgusting.
making out isn't great in terms of oral health, but, like, that's why I use a dental dam. But hey, baby, let me put this dental dam on before we make out.
My God.
Dental dam.
No, I don't use a dental dam, folks, but I do not share a toothbrush.
No, that's
No.
that's
Yeah,
that's just gross.
It's kind of weird too.
Yeah.
I about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was getting up and it was super early, and I grabbed a toothbrush and I immediately like start to brush my teeth and I was like, "This is not mine."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. And I don't want to say that I judge people, but there are times
judge
whenever.
people.
Well, I do judge people.
Yeah.
But like I will go. Yeah,
Safe space.
yeah. But no, like I'll go into somebody's house and you look at their toothbrush and it's like this super frayed like piece of shit toothbrush, and I'm like, how long have you had that? One, you're brushing way too hard if your bristles look like that, and two, that thing needs to be like refreshed
That
and you need a
needs
new
to be
one.
put down. Put it out of its
So
misery.
and
You recommend a Sonicare, right?
I love a Sonicare.
Yeah, I got a Sonicare.
Yeah, that's
and
good
they're pretty
stuff.
cheap now. They're not
Yeah,
expensive.
and on Amazon Day, like you can get them for really cheap. Yeah,
I love the Sonicare. Once I started brushing with the Sonicare, like changed
There's no
my
turning
world.
back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We actually got Mike on one.
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. What if they don't have a Sonicare? What do you recommend in terms of?
Oral-B spin brush, at least the
Number 2?
yeah, I would say anything that
Medium
has
hardness or soft?
No, you want soft. Yeah.
Soft.
So anything that's too hard takes away enamel.
Why do they even make
I don't know.
medium
It's a
and
great
hard
question.
then?
What kind of toothpaste do you recommend?
Yeah, let's go toothpaste.
Yeah, while we're
see,
here.
toothpaste, I personally, I use this brand. It's called Closest. It's a non-irritant
Closest?
toothpaste. Closest, Closys.
Where do you get that from?
The dentist office. You can get it on Amazon as well.
Okay.
It doesn't have sodium lauryl sulfate in it, which is the foaming agent. So I get a lot of ulcers and stuff like that. So if I bite my lip or something like that, I'll get an ulcer. So it's just not, and so sometimes the sodium lauryl sulfate will cause ulcers for people who are prone to ulcers. So it decreases the amount of ulcers that I get. So, but
Any other positives to that toothpaste besides no ulcers?
it doesn't foam, so you can't wear it. I will say the caveat is that you cannot put good clothes on and brush your teeth because sometimes it just like falls out of your mouth because it doesn't foam. Like that foam like keeps everything in your mouth, and all of a sudden you're just like all over. Yeah, so but I mean, other than that, like you don't want to use like the charcoal toothpaste. I think that's a scam.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about
just
the
use
chocolate one?
the chocolate has
What's it called? Chocolate Den or
Theodent.
Theodent. Yeah. Local company.
Yeah, it has. They liken it to somewhat similar properties as fluoride, but it doesn't have fluoride. I am a huge supporter of fluoride, so anything that has fluoride, I say use fluoride. But yeah, you don't want anything that's too abrasive. Like the charcoal is way abrasive.
I had a funny story. Well, it's not a funny story, but we just did a podcast, and I think we should release it after this one because I think we should get this one up and running ASAP because I just love it. But in it, we talk about mowing the lawn with your house on fire.
Yeah.
And so there's like a lot of not stories, but like information out there about the negative effects of fluoride.
Yeah.
Right. But the reality is that it's a minimal amount of fluoride that you brush with every day.
Yeah.
You spit it out. And then on top of that, like, if the rest of your entire life isn't buttoned up,
If you're
that
eating
little bit of
cheeseburgers
fluoride,
every day,
isn't going to really matter.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean,
What are the positives to the fluoride?
So I mean, dental disease and decay is like the number one like diagnosis for children. Okay, that you have decay in your mouth. So it's like it's gonna cause the enamel to stay healthy, and it's gonna prevent yourself from getting cavities. Okay, brushing, flossing, and all that stuff. It's gonna help. So my thing is like, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm gonna throw this out there.
Yeah.
And I always tell my dentist this is that I haven't had a cavity in like a long, like maybe a decade.
Good.
Right. And I don't floss, which is a problem. I need the floss because my gums require the flossing. I
Save
suck
space.
at it. And I
Save
need to get
space.
better. Safe space. Safe space. But I attribute that to my diet.
Yeah.
Have you seen any links between nutrition and oral health?
Well, obviously, okay, so the critical factor is like how much acid and how much like sugar intake you're having. So the main thing is that you want to decrease the overall acidity of your mouth. So with that, you want to, if you're drinking lots of water, obviously that's going to help decrease the pH, or actually increase the pH, sorry. But you want to
make it more basic.
Yeah, make it more basic. Basic bitches. But no, like with that, like if you have like a pretty good diet, same thing. If you have a pretty good diet it leads to that overall body health as well. I mean, it can only promote your oral health as well, you know? There's like people who think that like eating certain fibrous foods will like help floss your teeth. Like if you eat lots of meats and things like that, it like actually helps to floss your teeth. I don't believe that, but
No.
That sounds a little
like, you know what I'm
ridiculous.
saying? Like that's like
Preaching.
yeah, but it's like I mean, just brush your teeth, people. Floss.
Your wife's gotten on to me about eating gummy bears.
Yeah.
You eat gummy
I
bears,
had a
Mike?
cavity, yeah. So I love gummy bears.
It's Sour Patch Kids. He
Sour
loves
Patch
Sour Patch
Kids.
Kids.
Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah.
So I
Shit.
stopped eating them because I got a cavity.
Yeah.
And your wife told me that it was because I was eating those candies.
Yeah.
Well, I think because gummy bears stick.
They
in
stick,
the
and it's
teeth.
just sugar that's bathing your
Well, that
teeth,
was
yeah.
something that Ryan had talked about. Basically,
He said M&Ms are better.
Yeah, have an M&M because the gummy bear might stick in your teeth for like half an hour after.
Well, and that's what we also try to say. Like, if you're snacking, like we would rather you like.
I'm snacking.
That was cute. No, like if you're gonna have a snack, like eat it with your meal, or like if you're gonna have juice, or if you're gonna have a Coke, have it at your meal time, so that way you get it done with, and you're not like having that acid in your mouth for like a
Prolonged
long
amount.
period of time. So you want to like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
like it.
it's like if your kid like needs juice, give them juice at.
Your kid does not need juice.
Your kid does not need
kid
juice.
should
Your
drink
kid does not
water,
need
but
sugar water. We've seen lots of.
There is no healthy properties to juice. It's sugar water. Thank
yeah,
you.
exactly. No, like we have
Eat your fruit.
We have people who come in and they're like, Johnny won't go to sleep unless I put him to bed with a bottle of sugar water, and it's like, what? don't put sugar in the water for 2 days. The kid's gonna be thirsty. He'll drink water.
That
Don't
makes
put sugar
sense.
in your like they literally
What?
just they
Yeah.
literally put sugar in water.
Nah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's all Emily and I's recommendation for parents with kids who like, well, my kid won't eat this. I'm like, well, cool, just that's it. They don't eat. You know, 'cause
They'll
they're like,
eventually
well,
eat.
they'll starve. No, they'll eat.
Yeah.
When they get hungry enough, they'll eat.
Yeah.
I promise your kids won't starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're eventually gonna give in.
They'll give in.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
eat. Even if it's like broccoli. Well, my kids love raw vegetables.
Yeah.
They won't eat cooked vegetables, but they love raw vegetables, which is probably also good for their oral health.
Yeah. It's good.
What routine should you get your kids on?
As soon as the first tooth erupts, you're gonna want to start brushing their teeth with a pea-sized amount of fluoride toothpaste, and then brushing morning and night twice a day, flossing once a day. Just make it part of your routine.
For Christmas, my kids got a like toothbrush stand with a timer on it, a
Oh,
sand
yeah.
timer on it,
2
which
minutes.
is great because they can now
Yeah.
watch the timer, so it's not just chip 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 done.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also the best part about like a Sonicare or a mechanical toothbrush is that it has a timer built into it too. So
Yeah, you let most kids do it on their own. They just chew on the brush
Yeah.
until the toothpaste is gone.
Yeah. And we see it quite often. It's like, oh yeah, like they're good at brushing their teeth. As a parent, I suggest like looking in your kid's mouth and being like, oh, you didn't brush too good, Johnny.
Yeah.
Brush a little bit better, or brush their teeth for them. So
Is Johnny's dad named Chad, and is
Yeah.
his mom's
Probably.
name Karen?
yes, our waitress last night at Mr. B's was Karen, and she was a total not Karen, and I felt bad that she was.
Did
named
you
Karen.
ask her? Have
Yeah,
you considered
we talked
changing
about
your
it.
name in
We
2021?
talked. I was like, Karen, you're the least Karen I've ever met, and she was the sweetest little lady.
I actually find that women named Karen aren't Karens.
Yeah.
No, it's
pretty
like one
bizarre.
Karen ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find
There's
that most
one.
Chads are Chads.
I agree.
100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
They walk around with that sound too.
All right, so both of you guys are in nutrition coaching.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And how has your lives kind of changed since you started that?
I think one, I became more aware of the foods that I was eating, and initially I thought that I had a pretty good knowledge of nutrition prior to starting nutrition coaching, but had never had the consistency with it to make any change or see any progress and whatnot. My wife and I always ate relatively healthy, but at the same time, I didn't really know amounts of what I was eating. So the nutrition coaching, whenever I actually started taking pictures of all my food, I'm like, ooh, Bradley's not going to like this. I started to get, like, the accountability was there because I started thinking like, oh crap, Bradley's going to say something about this,
track in any way, and I mean, like, even if you just kept a food journal and you jotted everything down, or pictures, or weighing, like, all those are forms of tracking.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
When you don't do that, you really don't.
You don't
have any idea of how much you eat.
of what's going into your
Right,
body.
what's going
and
into your
then
body.
Whenever I moved into phase 2, where I started, counting my macros and whatnot, like I was shocked at how much food I could actually eat.
Right.
To
Get there.
To get there. But like so I've been like making my meals whenever I go to Homa and I stay at my parents' house a couple nights a week. I'll like bring my food there, and my dad always says like, "Wow, that looks really good." And from there, he's like, "Well, how many calories is that?" And I was like, "To be honest, Dad, I was like, these 3 chicken meatballs, broccoli, and some pasta. It's only 600 calories, and like I was full."
Yeah.
But it's good food that you're eating. It's the simple foods. It's
Right.
I mean,
not
whenever
a
you
big
think
thing
down,
for you,
yeah,
right.
like whenever you think down to it, you're like, wow, I can actually eat a lot of food, and really my calorie intake is not that much to where I can eat a little bit more later, or like breakfast 1, breakfast 2. Supper 1, supper 2. I call it supper. Y'all call it dinner. But
Well,
Supper club.
your name is Chiclet, so
yeah. But I think that's probably like the most interesting thing is that whenever you think about eating your simple foods, you're realizing that, wow, I can eat a lot better and a lot healthier, but then I can also eat more because it's healthy foods that's not covered in a ton of fat.
We were just
and
talking
whatnot.
about that with Stephanie,
One of our other
nutrition coaches, about tracking versus non-tracking.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't track, you tend to restrict more.
Yeah.
And when you do track, you tend to eat a lot more. And it's just, I enjoy eating more. I am in the eat more camp.
Yeah.
So I always want more food. So that's my favorite thing about tracking is I get to eat more food.
I think that like the other side to that is that with me having tracked for 3 or 4 weeks now, like I went out to eat at Mr. B's last night, and Bradley and I talked about what I should do to set myself up for success to eat at Mr. B's. But whenever I sat down and ate, it's like, yes, I can get the shrimp and grits that's covered in lots of gravy, this, that, and the other. Or I was like, but I really like pork chops, and that's probably a better option for me. So it's like, I think mentally it's helped me change.
Restaurant pork chops are real good.
Oh God, this one was killer.
Restaurant pork chops are real good.
Karen suggested it, and thank you, Karen, at Mr. B's.
We love Karen.
Yeah,
Big
she
pork chop
was-
guy.
Yeah,
Was
she
it bone
deserves a
in?
tip.
It was bone in, right?
Yeah, bone in. Yeah, it was delicious. You could cut it with a butter knife. It was that tender.
Ooh.
But I think overall, it's just helped me, one, visualize the amount of food that I can eat, and two, I mean, you just feel better whenever you're eating right.
Mike,
So-
what about you?
I think for me, it's really helped me with my portion control.
Yeah.
So through playing sports, playing offensive line, playing football, it's like you can eat whatever you want.
Right.
You're also burning a ton of calories every day because you're working out, you're going to practice.
Right.
In real life, you don't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
you don't burn that amount of calories. So I think once I got onto the Stacked nutrition coaching, being held accountable, my portion control, and just making better decisions, has definitely helped me. And it makes me feel better too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you have more control over what you're eating,
Yeah.
which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy because a lot of people view it as restrictive, but to me it's not. Because I have all these options. I get to make the choices for myself, and then I get to have more of it. I don't know. It just feels better.
Yeah. I think it's helped me, like, it's going to sound weird too, like save money. So like I do outside sales for a living. I'm in my car all day.
Yeah.
So like
Recipe to like eat out
to
all
like,
the time.
yeah. So like to make my own lunch, bring a lunch box and have that. It helps. It's so helpful.
That's been one of the coolest things to
Yeah.
see for you is just instead of just like going to the store every day, and it wasn't even that you're getting a bad option, but
Yeah.
Right.
now you're in total control of that.
So
Yeah, I think that like we have always enjoyed cooking, but now I realize that like we cook very well. So sometimes going out to eat at a restaurant,
It's not as good.
I'm underwhelmed. So
Yeah.
and I put this in my tracker with Bradley. Like my wife had COVID, so after she. Her Instagram algorithm had Lola's paella that was just like kept popping up, and she's like, "I really want some paella whenever I get my taste back." So like we,
Love this.
so like we went
I love
to
how our
yeah.
Instagram algorithm gave her Lola paella.
Exactly. So whenever she had her taste back, she's like, "Oh, I made a reservation at Lola's. Let's go get some paella." And then whenever we got there, like we got home, it was good, but Gabrielle was like, "We could have cooked that," and I think that's like. Because we're cooking a lot more, like the same thing, like because we're cooking and we're eating good options, we realize that like we're cooking very good and it tastes good.
It decreased the amount I ate out too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
big
for
time.
sure.
So where maybe I had 2 takeout nights a week,
Yeah.
I do 2 a month, maybe 1 a month.
Yeah.
And we used to go out to a restaurant at least once a week, and we don't do that anymore. The difference, though, is when we go out now, I go out to a place that I know is going to be jamming.
Yeah. Yeah.
someplace
And that's
awesome.
kind of us. Like if we go out, we're going to go out for something that we don't necessarily cook. Like we love pho, and it's like we're not going to sit around
I'm
and
a big
cook
sushi guy.
like
Yeah.
we're not going to cook a
I made
big old pot of
sushi.
pho.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
can
I've always
Imagine.
wanted to do it too.
Look, you got to do it. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a hack. So Emily posted this the other night, and you can make your own poke bowls at home. Like you can get some salmon,
Oh, yeah.
sear it, or you can sear some tuna just because I don't know if you have access to sushi grade tuna or salmon, but you can cook some basmati rice, okay? Mix some a little bit of coconut oil in it, which is going to raise the fat content a little bit, but you'll be okay, all right?
That's where it's at.
Chill it, all right? You can get some seaweed salad from like Costco, Whole Foods, Robert's, whatever. Just check the label, make sure it looks pretty good, all right? And then mix that together with the rice, drop your salmon or your tuna in it, hit it with a little bit of lemon, put some everything but the bagel seasoning on top to get those seeds on it, okay? And if you got a little wasabi at home, it tastes
good.
delicious. It's
Yeah.
like having a poke bowl, but now it's super simple. You can
In your
track
control.
it all.
Yeah.
You're in control of it. There's no like wacky foods in it that
Yeah.
you don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
So, yeah. All right. Any parting thoughts for maybe someone that would like to join the gym, considering Roux, but maybe a little afraid at home?
I would say just do it. It's been a great decision for me personally. I was scared because I didn't know. And I think that fear always gets in the way of yourself. Like you get in your own way. And you'd be surprised with the amount of progress and change that you can do with just a little positivity.
Yeah, I think CrossFit term gets a bad rap, but I would say just don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, come try it out, and it's awesome.
Well, and I say that I go to Roux. I don't say that I do CrossFit.
Right.
Because I think that it's just a workout. Regardless of
Yeah.
like if I'm going to the gym and doing a workout or if I'm coming here and doing a workout, I don't find that I'm doing CrossFit. I will never be a CrossFit athlete at the games or anything like that. I know that. But
You're
I'm
just
getting a
working
good
out.
workout.
You're coming here to Roux to work out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
And like,
awesome.
and that's the thing. It's like I'm coming here. I don't have to think about what I'm going to do to work out. I show up. I have a coach that's going to help me achieve some goals, and it's fun.
High
We'll
five
throw
some friends.
some Nelly on for you.
Hey.
I mean,
Drink some Fit
Hot in
Aid.
here.
All
Yeah.
in, maybe eat a Built Bar. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
I say
plug.
Just
plug.
do it.
yeah, it's always a good time. Too,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, no matter what.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. For Chiclet and Fezzik, Sarah and myself, peace out.
Bye.